desert does not forgive. It does not negotiate. It simply takes. In 524 BC, the Persian King Cambyses sent an army of 50,000 elite soldiers into the great sand sea of western Egypt. They were the finest warriors of the ancient world. They carried bronze swords, iron shields, and enough water for a week. They marched into the desert and never walked out. 50,000 men vanished. Not a single bone, not a single shield, not a single survivor was ever seen again. How do 50,000 people simply cease to exist? Did they lose their way? Did an enemy ambush them? Or did the desert itself wake up and swallow them whole? This is the story of the greatest disappearance in human history.
Cambyses II was not a man who accepted no. The Persian king had conquered Egypt, but the Oracle of Amun at Siwa Oasis refused to legitimize his rule. Enraged, Cambyses made a fatal mistake. He declared war on a god. He split his massive army. He took the main force south to Ethiopia, but he detached 50,000 of his best soldiers with a single command: march west across the desert to Siwa, burn the temple, enslave the oracle. It was a suicide mission, though they didn't know it yet. They were marching into one of the most hostile places on Earth, the Great Sand Sea, an ocean of shifting dunes the size of a country, where the temperature can boil water and the wind can strip flesh from bone.
Herodotus, the Greek historian, tells us they reached the oasis of Karga after 7 days. They were tired, but confident. They refilled their water skins. They rested. Then they stepped off the edge of the map. The route from Karga to Siwa is pure desolation. There are no landmarks. The dunes shift every hour. The sun hammers down with a physical weight. Imagine the psychology of those soldiers. Day after day of yellow nothingness. The heat stroke setting in. The water running low. The silence of the desert at night, broken only by the sound of 50,000 men breathing, wondering if they would ever see their homes again. They were walking into a trap set by nature itself. It started as a whisper. The locals call it the Khamsin, a wind from the south. But this was something worse. According to the legends, while the army was stopping for a midday meal, the horizon disappeared. The sky turned a bruised purple, then a violent red. It wasn't a storm. It was a wall. A sandstorm in the Great Sand Sea isn't just wind. It's solid matter moving at 100 kilometers an hour. It blocks out the sun completely. It creates total darkness at noon. Panic. 50,000 men trying to scream orders, but their mouths filled with sand the moment they opened them. They couldn't see the man standing next to them. They couldn't breathe. They couldn't move. The terror wasn't quick. It was slow and suffocating. The sand didn't just blow past them. It piled up. It buried their feet, then their knees. If you fell, you were gone. Herodotus writes, "A wind arose from the south, strong and deadly, bringing with it vast columns of whirling sand, which entirely covered up the troops and caused them wholly to disappear." Imagine the silence after the storm passed. An hour before, there had been an army. Now, just smooth, rolling dunes. Not a spear tip visible, not a helmet. The desert had simply smoothed over the surface, hiding its crime perfectly. For 2,500 years, explorers have looked for them. It is the El Dorado of Egyptology. 50,000 skeletons, 50,000 sets of armor, 50,000 swords. It would be the greatest archaeological find in history. In 2009, two Italian archaeologists claimed to have found a rock shelter with bronze weapons and human bones in the area. They found a silver bracelet thousands of years old. Was it them? The desert is vast. It shifts constantly. A dune that is here today might move a kilometer next year. The army could be buried under 100 meters of sand, or they could be right under the surface, waiting for the wind to reveal them. The army is still there, waiting. An entire city of the dead, preserved in the dry sand, marching eternally toward an oasis they will never reach.
The desert keeps what it takes. Somewhere beneath the great sand sea, 50,000 men are still marching. If you want to uncover the next secret buried in the sands of history, subscribe now. The wind is shifting.